Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Ciao from Italia. Good morning from, where are we? Tuscany, Villa Vrindavan. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show and welcome to Italy, everyone. Howdy, bo. Look at these beautiful livers. We're here with about 60 live people and crew with Miss Mara and me and Kaustubha sharing the mic, and we've been out of commission the last few days. Kaustubha just couldn't do the show. I begged him. I pleaded with him.
Day after day. Well, I can't do it today. I got to go to the beach. Can't do it today.
What? I'm traveling. I have a meeting. I have things up. I'm up to my ears. No, it was hard. It's hard to travel and do this stuff. But we're back here today, and we're going to see what's going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow's a weird day. But you will know, because I will post if we're doing it live tomorrow on Instagram stories. But before we get on, we're having a great time, and Miss Mara has a couple announcements she'd like to share with you. Share, Mara.
We're back to recovery group meetings today at 1 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time.
We're even here live with the Bhakti Recovery and Jiva G, and we're happy to have her here, giving everybody support and love. If you haven't checked out Bhakti Recovery Group, it's bhaktirecoverygroup.com, a Bhakti approach to the 12-step program. Goes hand in hand with it.
21 meetings per week they have now.
It's blowing up. And it's great for us dented cans in the world who appreciate recovery and the deep diving into our anarthas. Anartha is an unwanted thing in the heart. We're just trudging up stuff. Oh, we're a mess in Kali Yuga. And you know what? It's okay. Because Lord Chaitanya teaches the highest of the lowest. It's okay being a dented can. We're a little dented, and that's okay. Kaustubha.
Yes?
Do you want to talk about anything today? We have Nugget, or should I share my ferry experience?
You have to share the microphone a little bit too.
Yes, that would be good. Share the ferry experience.
Well, I've been, some of you may know, I follow certain things on Instagram. And so I like to follow things that assist me in my bhakti path. Now, some people think, well, how can this assist you on your bhakti path? You have to take it a couple steps further. I like to chant in graveyards. I like to do that. Why? Because I see the temporality of human existence. I collect skulls from animals, not human. I have no human skull. If you have one, I'll take it. And I like skulls because they remind me of my temporality. I also follow dash cam disasters as well as maritime_daily. Now, maritime_daily is one boat accident after another.
And I think that was the problem in this case.
Well, it wasn't the problem in this case. The problem was I was going on a ferry that day. And when Road Rage, the Croatian twins, told me, yeah, we're going to take a ferry over the Adriatic Sea, and we're going to wake up in the morning, I was like, hold on, ferry? I thought it was like the Staten Island ferry. It's like, okay, you're there. It's been 20 minutes. This is an overnight ferry where you get a little hotel room. And so I've meditated upon drowning, scuba diving. That's why I don't scuba dive. Swimming, dangerous animals in the water, meditating on that. Never have I thought of myself in a hotel room drowning. That was a new turbo scenario for my mind. So I had that lead up to the ferry ride. I played it cool because my 9-year-old was already petrified. And I was like, okay, no, everything's going to be fine. Everything's fine. Everything was fine. It was a very beautiful, just to get away from the Croatia and see it from a distance, from the vantage point of a boat, is quite breathtaking. Then we started to lose a signal, because once you get away from you start to lose a signal. Now, I checked the weather report. No one knows this, but for 5 days, what's the weather on Sunday? What's going to be the weather on the boat for the Sunday? Crystal clear, blue, all sun. As we're leaving, there's warning, alert, an exclamation point came up on my weather thing that said, high winds, danger. I was just like, oh my God. and then my phone went out of range. So that is the only message I have. I woke up, so I went to bed. Somehow I made it to bed. It was fine. And I woke up at 2 a.m. after 4 hours of sleep. Like, I just hear noises. There is water dripping down the wall.
Hold it. Let me get this straight. You were on a boat and you heard water.
Yes. But it was making these sounds it wasn't making before we started the trip. And I was like, oh my God. And I just, Mary, you got to wake up. I went over to Mary's bunk. Mary, you got to wake up. Do you hear that? Do you hear the sounds this boat is making?
What did Mary say?
What did you say, Mary? I can't even remember.
It's all in the Dave's hands.
I said it's all in the Dave's. I was like, these are not normal noises. We got to go out and check in to see if things are going to be okay. And she's like, what can we do? We're in a boat at this point. And I was like, this is not good. I have to go up and see.
You went to investigate.
I went to investigate and see if I could do anything, help the captain, whatever he needed. Maybe he was asleep at the wheel. Things happen.
That's what happened with the Titanic, I think, right? He just kind of spaced the whole thing out.
He did.
Other people knew there was danger.
There was an iceberg. He didn't see it. He was enjoying. And so I wanted to be the responsible one for the ship. And so I did. I got fully dressed, went out on the deck. Everybody's asleep. No one's around. And I'm looking. It was windy. But not so windy. I was like, okay, it seems windy. I circled the entire giant ferry. Then I went to the higher decks. Maybe there's something I can see from up above. And it was almost pretty eerie because it was. And then
this is like a near-death experience.
It was first of all walking on a ferry, which had a bunch of people like enjoying and stuff like that in the daytime, and now it's completely quiet, and you couldn't see anything. It was like dark. You just see a couple lights in the distance.
Quiet is a sure sign of danger.
Could be. Everyone's sleeping. I don't see the captain. I don't see anybody. And I was like, but there's no wind. It seems okay. Maybe there's some danger because I see black smoke coming out of the smokestack.
The smokestack. What an unusual place to see the smoke coming out of.
Well, I was thinking, this very, very black. That I don't know if the smoke is usually that black.
It was nighttime, though.
I know. And so then after a while, when I realized we're not on fire, the winds aren't so bad, then I just sat in my bed with my eyes open for an hour thinking, what would I do? So my point is, it's good to be aware about our temporality of existence, but there's a fine line between breeding anxiety inside you. That's what I'm thinking.
And I think the Instagram thing that you're part of, what was it,
Maritime_daily, if you want to check that one out.
I think that's where you just took it a little too far with that one, right? I think that one just pushed you over the edge.
Well, unfortunately, there was a ferry incident the day before. Anyone follow that one in Norway? Anybody following these?
Nobody's following that.
Well, people should know. People should know because the engine stopped and the sea took over the boat. Anyway, let's get back.
Thank you.
It's important to know these things, I think. And it's important to understand that life is very fragile. Don't waste time.
Okay. On that note, maybe we should begin the class. Yeah. Oh, I just want to mention one announcement. The class I gave in London, we posted it on Patreon. So for Patreon members, it's there if you want to see it. People were asking, so it's there.
Yeah, if you want to become a Patreon member, you go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages. Want to thank everybody who's already a member. And if you already are a member, double it. Double it.
Right here with you.
Okay. All right. The camera makes me look extremely red. Do I look that red? Yeah, please. Okay. All right. Let's get into the Srimad Bhagavatam. What do you say? It's so good when we have a big live because everybody chants these mantras together. Ready? Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloki bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's been a while. We are in Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text 6. What's going on?
We're moving throughout Jambudvipa, which is some vast region of the universe, and we're making little stops off at different places, and we're hearing prayers from different important people. Their prayers to Lord Vishnu. So it's kind of being illustrated that wherever you go in this universe, there are these. The Lord is all pervasive, and his devotees are kind of all pervasive too, and they have a lot of great insights about life. So currently, we're here. Do you remember who we're hearing from?
Lord Ram.
No.
No?
Hanuman.
Hanuman offering prayers to Ram. Yeah.
So you want to dive right in? Yeah. I think we heard in the previous verse how through the whole struggle of the Ramayana with Ram having to try to rescue Sita and all this, he was illustrating something about the futility of trying to find happiness through external things. That point was made by Hanuman. He was saying, in other words, he's Atmarama, he's self-sufficient. He doesn't need anything external, but he was illustrating something through this past. And we pick up where we left off today. Text number 6.
I also want to mention that it's also very interesting how there's always everywhere, on every planet, there's always devotees, and there's always people just not interested in God. They're there too. And then there's people who are actively causing trouble, just actively going out of their way, causing trouble. And we're seeing it here. It's not just happening in this planet. It's happening in planets all over the world, all over the universe, rather. Also, we want to mention, besides the fact that we're the incredible Mahabharat Museum here at Villa Vrindavan in Tuscany, one of our favorite people, Satyanandana Swami, is going to be with us Saturday and Sunday, doing the show with us as well.
Look forward to that.
Yes. What?
That was
an earthquake.
Okay, we just had a little earthquake here. We just had an earthquake here. Raghunath, easy.
You cannot shake a building like that.
Now you can work.
And now,
Let all the death meditation go into effect right now.
we're sitting under a gigantic chandelier. Sure. Okay, you guys, you don't understand what happened just here. We are in a building that's maybe 500 years old. It is maybe older. It's one of the probably more secure buildings ever. The whole thing just shook like it was made of straw. That was quite shocking. That's what
You are just death-defying at every moment here, Raghunath, on this trip.
Yeah, because we all got these emergency warnings on our phones.
Okay, well, let's pull this. Let's pull this show.
Okay, let's pull it together, guys. Let's bring it. Let's take shelter of Lord Vishnu right now.
We're probably in the best place we could be
Except for the fact that we're
Except,
Chandelier.
except there's probably a 700-pound chandelier hanging right above our heads.
Okay, you ready?
Hare Krishna. Since Lord Sri Ramachandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, he is not attached to anything in this material world. He is the most beloved super soul of all self-realized souls, and he is their very intimate friend. He is full of all opulences. Therefore, he could not possibly have suffered because of the separation from his wife, nor could he have given up his wife Lakshmana. His wife and Lakshman, sorry, his brother, his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. I just read that entire verse while thinking of how to escape this place. I wasn't even, that's my reading retention. I can actually read things and be thinking of something totally different. I want you to read that entire thing while I sit here in panic.
No. Stay with me here. We're
Think of escape routes.
Okay, let's read it again. Be with me here. And you know what? One thing that's really catching my attention lately is how often in the Bhagavatam, the name of where they say Vasudeva, and that we really try to understand. It's not that these names. There's so many names that could be used for Krishna or for Vishnu. It's not like they're randomly chosen or they're chosen just because they rhyme or something like that. But we got another earthquake coming. Raghunath, hang on.
Everybody's warnings are going off on their phones.
Okay, but my point being that it's not that they're randomly chosen, but they're meant to convey a message. So when this particular name is used, it's communicating something to us. Vasudeva Vasu means to dwell. So Vasudeva means the one who's dwelling everywhere, or the one that everything is dwelling, or everyone is dwelling within. Okay, so let's consider that as we read this. You ready? You with me? Yes. Okay. I'm going to quiz you at the end of the verse. I'm going to quiz you at the end of the verse. This is Hanuman speaking, since Lord Sri Ramachandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, the one who dwells everywhere, the one in whom everything dwells, he is not attached to anything of this material world, right? He is the most beloved super soul of all self-realized souls. This is important, right? It's important.
What's it saying? Croatia, come here.
It says 7 kilometers from Pogobansi.
It's very close to where we are.
Province of Siena. That's where we're going today. There was a 4.2 magnitude, estimated magnitude of 4.2 earthquake. That means there was, or it's coming?
I wonder if there's going to be aftershocks.
It's done. We're in the middle of it. Yeah.
What do we do?
Okay, wisdom of the sages.
Oh, there.
You don't say. Okay. So.
Stay here. Go there.
Yeah. That's right. Let's get. Okay, it's an earthquake. Anything could happen. What do we do? What?
Do we go to the basement?
I think.
Don't go to the basement.
No. We sit
Go
here.
to the roof?
You fast until death and read the Bhagavatam. This is the path of the Bhagavatam. See, that's what we're under right there. Massive chandelier. Okay. You ready? Raghunath, are you going to make it through this show?
Well, no. Yeah, I'm okay. Saragrahi says we should be out of here.
We should get outside? Okay, we're moving this show outside.
Let's take this party outside.
Just
We've
right
never
there.
had this happen before.
But we have to do this while carrying this carefully. Everybody hang on.
You're live on Wisdom of Sages. We bring you.
We just need to carefully move this. All right, people.
What's the biggest a earthquake can be?
8, 9.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You live in California?
Yeah, I know.
See, people are saying, "Oh, you see, Amrita Kishori's 4.2 is nothing."
Oh, yeah, it's nothing. when you're sitting there in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like a 700-pound chandelier above our heads. Let's see that message board.
It's because they're saying is Karuna there? Because our theme last year was at all save Karuna, protect Karuna at all costs, right?
Okay, Roger Tompkins thought I was smart. Oh my goddess, says Kelly Skinner. Perhaps move from under the chandelier.
It was a huge chandelier.
It was a very big chandelier. Henry scared. Oh, Henry felt it too.
Oh, Henry, yeah.
He's a good worrywart.
Henry's on a plane right now.
Henry's my favorite worrywart.
This show is going to be viral.
And Dominica's like, sitting back there like, it's not too bad. She's from Japan. They've had some bad earthquakes there too.
Maybe we ought to do the show out here every day.
Phones.
Doesn't matter now. What it says.
It's funny that the alarm is for a test and then an actual emergency.
I know. They knew it was coming.
We're testing this. Okay, now it's in action.
All right, we ready to go? How are we doing on bars?
How are we doing for sinkholes? Tommy and Tarun. I know, but they're there. We're staying out of the building because there was just an earthquake. Where were you? You were in there. Okay, good. So we're going to stay outside. Be careful of sinkholes now. And perhaps various Southern European snakes.
And sharks.
And monkeys.
Speaking of monkeys. Thank you. Are we ready to get back into it? Why don't we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times?
Shinga, Shina Shinga, Jai Jai Nishinga, Kalada Nishe, Padma Bringam.
All right. With that, we begin the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will read the verse, Raghunath. You will listen.
I'll listen.
You feel safe?
Yeah. And I think if I do feel too safe, I'm in Maya.
Okay, good. I want you to feel just safe enough to hear this verse and share your insights on it.
I'm ready.
Since Lord Sri Ramachandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, he is not attached to anything in this material world. He doesn't care about earthquakes. He doesn't care about sharks. He is the most beloved super soul of all self-realized souls. I want to talk about this, but we'll read the rest. I'm not going to be able to read it, though, until you... And he is their very intimate friend. I wonder what the term for that is here.
Intimate friend. Surit Tamaha.
Where is it?
Surit Tamaha.
Suritamaha, the best friend. He is full of all opulences. Therefore, he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife, nor could he have given up his wife and Lakshmana, his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. So in other words, this is very interesting, actually. You know what controversy this speaks to?
No.
Are you with us?
Well, I'm half and half.
Okay. So a lot of times people question, how could Lord Ram leave Sita at the end of the Ramayana?
Yeah.
Right?
How would he do it? The whole Ramayan's about him being dutiful and honest and straightforward and truthful and
his love for her.
Responsible and his deep love, and he'll sacrifice everything. And then all of a sudden, you got a bad reputation. You have to leave. You have to leave.
They split up. So here it's saying a few things. It's saying that, one, he's the most beloved super soul of all self-realized souls, and he's their very intimate friend. So that means that Sita is a self-realized soul, right? And it also says that he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife. Why not? Because he's with her. Even though when he's not with her, he's with her because he's in the heart of every living being. He's there.
Mm.
Also his younger brother.
And in spiritual philosophy, the separation intensifies the togetherness.
This
is
another
beyond, this
angle.
stuff is beyond a story. It is like deep spiritual philosophy woven in here.
It's true. You know, there was a film. You must have seen it. Did you ever see that film?
I remember we talked about it a while ago.
Did we talk about it on the show?
I think so, but it was a long time ago.
I think we did.
Sita sings the blues. Yeah.
Sita sings the blues. I wrote a review of it.
I remember that, but I don't remember it. I didn't read it.
Okay, you want to read it right now?
Your review of Sheeta Sings the Blues? Yes, I do want to read that now.
Are you sure? We don't have to read, but I can read a bit from it if you like.
If you got it.
I got it. Let's see, because it was an interesting film. It was actually really far out film. Did you like it?
I didn't see it. I
Oh.
didn't see Sheeta Sings the Blues. You know, I
can't
don't
believe you
like.
didn't see
Well,
it.
you know what? I don't like things that are written and interpreted by non-devotees.
Really? I thought you could be a little open about
Well,
those.
no, not with like sacred literature. And a matter of fact, I was reading some book with Mara about these pastimes from the Puranas, and after a while, I was like, "Wait a second." And then you read the back cover, and it's like, "This is this person,
Right.
random person's interpretation, where she embellished A, B, C, and D." I was like, "I don't want to read these."
Gotcha.
Ragu sounded like Kaustubha because he was the one who was saying, like, is this bona fide? Where did they get this from?
Yeah, well, I'm not a loosey goosey.
Okay, we know that.
I have some parameters.
Okay, so this film was written by a woman. Actually, she was like kind of close in the yoga circles that I was hanging out with at the time that it came out, and I think her name was I got it here, something Paley. Nina Paley. So she put out a film called Sita Sings the Blues, which it was like a animated kind of cartoony thing about the Ramayana, but interwoven into the story is the story of her own divorce with her husband.
Yeah, that sort of breaks out of the parameters of how we teach sacred literature. Generally, we don't mess around with the stories that much, and if we do mess around or embellish something to tell a story, it always goes back to the main point that Lord Vishnu is God, and we bring it back to the actual purport.
And so my review basically says, like, I was impressed with the film on so many levels, like the style of it. It was really you would be blown away by it if you saw it. You would be into it, but her message is all skewed. And so Ram, who's actually like the hero of the Ramayana, becomes the villain in hers. And she kind of openly speaks about how this is her own Ramayana. It's not the Ramayana.
Right.
And but also about she kind of like she's seeing it through the lens of her own disappointment in her own marriage. And so she's looking at the story of the Ramayana, and but because her vision is so tinted by her own marriage experience, she's not actually hearing the Ramayana, in my opinion. So anyway, she makes at one point she in an interview she mentioned. I'll see if I can find this. Let's see. She said
Kaustubha's really good at just pulling stuff up from his computer. You know how long that would take me to find that on my computer? I'd be digging for days. He just pulls it up and like goes right to the reference. This was not planned. This is spontaneous.
actually
Kaustubha.
it was planned.
Forget it. You make it seem.
Sorry.
You make it seem so nonchalant.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. She said, I wrote, now in all fairness, there's a lot there in the Ramayana which can be easily interpreted towards cruelty towards Sita, right? It's if you read it, it's the average person is to say, why is he treating her this way? You know? But then what to make of Ram's virtues and how to reconcile the apparent contradiction in his character. According to Nina Pauli, she says, the question that I asked, and the question that people still ask is why? Why did Ram reject Sita? Why did my husband reject me? We don't know why, and we didn't know 3,000 years ago. I like that there's really no way to answer the question, that you have to accept that this is something that happens to a lot of humans. So I said, well, here I have to disagree. And this brings me back to the idea of approaching the Ramayana on its own terms. Traditionally, to get answers to these kind of questions, one would approach a teacher who's devoted themselves to understanding the subtleties of India's great devotional literature, such as Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, with the Bhagavad Gita, the Puranas, and the Ramayana. And these same books speak of the character of one who will be suitable for delivering the answers. Ideally, the teacher would not only have gained an academic grasp of the subject, but also lived a holy life and walked the path that these books lay out. Someone who has repeatedly alternated between study, inquiry, contemplation, and back again, and who, in quiet moments, has allowed the literature to speak to them and clarify its message. It's a process in which one very consciously tries to set aside the biases developed through their own experiences and open themselves up to the possibility of coming in touch with the timeless truth. The subject of Ram's banishment of Sita has been questioned, contemplated, and commented on by a variety of teachers and holy people over the course of the history of the people of India. And the answers range from the exoteric, involving the need for a leader to sacrifice for the good of their followers and for their character to be beyond reproach, to the esoteric, usually dealing with the idea of the depth of the emotions experienced in the love of separation. One such explanation could be found in an article previously published this was my old blog, bhakticollective.com, entitled Radhanath Swami on Sita's Banishment. But in any case, so my point was, we just read something here. It spoke of Lord Vishnu, specifically in the form of Ram, and it spoke about how Ram is Vasudeva, which means he dwells everywhere. So even if he is externally, it appears he's separated from Sita, he's actually never separated from Sita. She's never separated from him. Nina Pauli's not, she may not be aware of these kind of commentaries. She says people have been asking this question and there is no answer. No, there are answers, but you really have to engage with the tradition. This is the kind of thing, this was written before people started getting into the whole subject of so much of cultural appropriation. But in a sense, she's dealing with their culture, but she's not fully aware of the commentary on the text that she was dealing with. And again, saying that, I'm not trying to be like real condemning her or anything like that, but my point is you just can't understand anything about the Ramayana through that film.
It's like trying to understand anything from the outside. We were part of the New York hardcore scene. So that is a scene of sort of like a fringe branch of kids in their teenage years at the time where most of the world was going to corporate rock concerts. We dressed in crazy clothes. We got ear piercings when boys didn't get ear piercings, and bleached our hair, got mohawks when people didn't do that. Nowadays, everybody does that, where if you had a tattoo in the 80s, you were a criminal. Nowadays, the guy at Starbucks has one on his neck. So back then, we were looked at as freaks, weirdos, outcasts of society. You're never going to get a good job. And we listened to really grungy, nasty music, went into dirty clubs, and played music and jumped off the stage. Now, we were cool with it, and we didn't freak out with it. And we knew there was like sort of a peaceful, within that craziness, there was also a community, and there were sort of rules, and there was appropriateness and inappropriateness. And it wasn't as crazy as it appeared, although it was sort of crazy. It was actually sort of crazy. But from the outside, it looked like, oh, my God, what is going on? This is so crazy. There was a famous episode of Quincy. Do you remember that? Do you remember anybody remember Quincy? They had the Quincy Punks, the punk episode. And Quincy came to the punk show and said, listen, everybody, this is so horrible what you're doing. And anyway, if you're not from that generation, you don't even know what I'm talking about. But my point is, when you study something from the outside, you're not going to understand it. And sometimes there were articles in the New York Times or the Village Voice about what the heck is going on at CBGB's. And it was just, they couldn't get it. But we got it because we were devoted to it. So in the same way, when you are devoted to something, whatever it is, what was the thing they said? Pokemon Go? If you really know what that is, it seems like really normal, really cool. Or football, it seems really normal, really cool. But when you're on the outside, it's like, what are you guys so excited about? It's a thing. When you have devotion to something, you enter into its subtleties. When you study sacred literature like an academic, you get one understanding. If you study honey from the outside of a jar, you will get one understanding. But to really taste honey, you have to you have to open the lid, you got to stick your little paw in, you got to lick your fingers. That's how you understand honey.
There are other ways to.
There are other ways, yes. You could also put your foot in that jar, lick your foot. The point being, when we get into something deeply, then it starts to reveal itself to us. God is the same way. These are all great stories, they're fantastic stories, but they're more than stories. They're like the deep theosophical or theological understanding of ancient traditions. So you have to approach it from a devotional way. And one of those ways is to read the commentaries of great souls and not just take it as story time. Story time may not make that much sense. It seemed unfair. Did he switch up his character all of a sudden? Did he have a change of heart in his midlife crisis? No. Lord Ram we're talking about. And that's why devotees of Ram will always worship Ram, no matter how the story goes. It's not going to make sense to us in our modern age where it's very common for men to walk away from their marriages and say, oh yeah, I'm just like Lord Ram did. No, you got it all wrong.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Honey jars.
So let's read this commentary. And you're going to like this commentary thing. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to read it or you want to read it?
I just talked a lot.
Okay. Does that mean you want me to?
Yeah, you can read.
Okay. Okay, so here's Srila Prabhupada's purport. In defining the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we say he is full in all 6 opulences: wealth, fame, strength, influence, beauty, and renunciation. Sometimes that renunciation, when people are like, what? Right?
Yeah, renunciation is an opulence. It's sort of like if I say, I'll give you $1 million to go over and they'll be like, nah, not interested. The ability to walk away from some huge offer, that's like a superpower, right?
Yeah. He is called renounced because he is not attached to anything in this material world. Right? He is specifically attached to the spiritual world and the living entities there. The affairs of the material world take place under the superintendence of Durga Devi. So like she is his agent and she takes care of all the ups and downs that go on in this world. That's her department. The affairs of this world are placed under the superintendence of Durga Devi. Everything is going on under the strict rules and regulations of the material energy represented by Durga. Therefore, the Lord is completely detached and need not give attention to the material world. Sita Devi belongs to the spiritual world. Similarly, Lord Lakshmana, Ramchandra's younger brother, is a manifestation of Sankarshan, and Lord Ramachandra himself is Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's giving a little perspective about how we have brothers, we have wives, we have material circumstances. These are different than that. These are on an eternal level that is not prone to the frailties of this world. Since the Lord is always spiritually qualified, he is attached to certain. This is very interesting. Since the Lord is always spiritually qualified, he is attached to servants who always render transcendental loving service unto him. I think just to make this easier to understand, instead of saying servants here, if we say like lovers, right? Since the Lord is always spiritually qualified, he is attached to those who love him and who always show that love through offering transcendental loving service or bhakti to him. Now, this is a heavy, deep statement here. He is attached to the truth in life, not to Brahminical qualities. Right? So even like our external, it's nothing external that excites him or touches his heart. Right? It says he is, this statement I think is like infinitely deep. He is attached to the truth in life. A lot of times we say like true love, right? Like he's attached to no external show, nothing surface level is going to touch the heart of God. It's only that which is true, right? True right down to the core. And quite honestly, that statement, it speaks a lot. It speaks a lot in Indian culture as well. Like it speaks to Indian,
which is a culture of many, many rules, many like detailed, nuanced rules,
valuable rules, but
useful rules, but it's ultimately not the highest. The rules are meant to serve love. Love is not meant to serve the rules.
Good one. All right, good one. Exactly, but no, that's exactly the point. We tend to get caught up in the superficial external level, even say religion or spirituality. And all of those rules and regulations are meant to serve this deeper purpose, the deeper truth, ultimately the deeper love. And that's the only thing that he's interested in. So therefore it's said again, indeed, he is attached to the truth in life, not to Brahminical qualities. Indeed, he is never attached to any material qualities, Although he's the super soul of all living entities, he is specifically manifest to those who are self-realized, and he is especially dear to the hearts of his transcendental devotees. So even if you got all the externals, you're religious, you follow rules and regulations, you got some reputation, you got some position, people would think, oh, the person in that position, they're very dear to God, they're very close to God.
No, it's not position whatsoever. Doesn't care. The leader of the ashram doesn't care. He cares about the heart of the leader of the ashram. The person who's just sweeping up around the ashram doesn't care. What doesn't care about your position? He cares about your heart while in that position. Write that one down, Mara.
Raghunath's flowing now. Okay, so again, although he's the super soul of all living entities, so he's in everyone's heart, but not everybody realizes that, right? Not everybody. So although he is the super soul of all living entities, he is specifically manifest to those who are self-realized, and he is especially dear to the hearts of his transcendental devotees. Because Lord Ramachandra descended to teach human society how a dutiful king should be, he apparently gave up the company of Mother Sita and Lakshmana, right?
Like that?
He-
Apparently.
This is what that Nina Pauli, hearing this may have influenced her understanding of it. He only apparently gave her up. There's something on another plane, in another dimension, where they were never ever separated, and it's something that was much more significant than the external.
We're not trying to rewrite the Ramayana. This is how the sages and the mystics taught it.
And it's this kind of understanding that you'll find sown throughout the Ramayana and these other texts. He apparently gave up the company of Mother Sita and Lakshmana. Factually, however, he could not have given them up. One should therefore learn about the activities of Lord Ramachandra from a self-realized soul. Then one can understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. So it can be understood.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
Why don't we do this? Oh, if I can find it. Let's see how quick I can find something.
Let's see how quick he can actually find something. It's a pretty interesting thing. Out of all the times in the day there to be an earthquake right during Wisdom of the Sages, that was pretty amazing, wasn't it? I'm going to call that a Krishna miracle, right? It could have happened any other time. We had an earthquake during our podcast. We missed the podcast for 4 days in a row or something like that. And nothing happened. No earthquakes, no volcanoes, no tidal waves, earthquake. We start the show, earthquake. Come on, Kaustubha, give me something.
Okay, miracle.
Okay, come on. If you guys could see where we are, where we're seated right now, and think of the people that lived in this castle for hundreds of years. We live in this. Yeah, you can actually see it. Well, not everybody, because some people aren't watching this on YouTube. A lot of people just listen. Most people just listen, but you could check this out on YouTube. We're in this beautiful courtyard of a palace, and the devotees have had it since the 80s. Think about the devotees that have been here. Given this used to be the art academy for the devotees. All the artists from all over the world used to come and paint. And I tell you, walking through the museum and see these magnificent paintings, which are like literally like 8 feet tall, right? 8 foot by 10 feet. And if you're in bigger, bigger than that, at least that, they're all yelling at me. No, Raghunath, you're wrong again. But anyway, just looking at these, and if you're into the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, these stories, there was at least 3 times this morning. It was me, King of Hearts, and Jennifer Jewell. We were walking around just looking at these paintings, and we were all getting choked up. You can't help it. And you realize, like, this art, right? It just, you put yourself into the character of Karna. He's got his wheel stuck in the mud, and you feel so sad. And you see Krishna embracing Draupadi, who's crying, so sad. Or Draupadi getting introduced to Kunti for the first time, and she's bowing down to the new mother-in-law. It's all moving. It's all What's going on, Kaustubha? He's having trouble. Okay, I thought he was more organized than he is.
It used to be online, but the website's down, so you can't find it. It was an article from Raghunath Swami about the banishment of Sita. Okay. But I remember it began with this quote It's a quote from a Brijbasi poet. I'm forgetting his name right now. It may have been Surdas, but I don't think so. But it shared this point. It's a nice point where it says it mentions that there's more love found in separation than in union, because love found in union, you're seeing your lover in one place, but when one is separated from the one they love, then they're seeing their beloved everywhere. So it's a these were, if we look at something like the Ramayana and we just look at it on a surface level, we're not really going to understand the depth of what these writers were trying to share. And there were these brilliant thinkers that were kind of like reaching into them and pulling out these deeper understandings of them. So when we see Krishna does this again and again. Krishna leaves Vrindavan, and all the residents of Vrindavan are thrown into the deepest levels of love in the mood of separation. It's called Vipralamba Bhav. I mean, there's subtle texts written about understanding these moods and how special they are.
The only way to understand it is to think about it in your own life. And this is a real thing. Some of us have had a madly in love with a person, and the person goes away. For some reason, they go on vacation or something, and everything is reminding of him or her. Oh, we used to sit under pine trees. Or like, oh my God, he drove a blue Subaru or whatever like that. Or or that person hurt you and left you, and you still, that's the diner we used to go to. That's the chair. We used to love going for walks in the rain. Everything reminds you of that person, and it's almost like haunting you. That's the closest. And if you've ever had that heartbreak or longing in a material relationship, that's a glimpse of what is Krishna. Oh, Krishna loves those flowers. Oh, Krishna. And you're thinking like Krishna like that.
Okay.
Huh?
Thank you.
Like that?
Yes. Yeah. So,
You ever get your heart broken, Kaustubha?
you keep asking me that on the show, like again and again. Did you
I want you to tell the story. I want you to tell the story. It's over now.
I could tell the story, but it's not even that good,
It's not that good.
But I felt that, sure. I think we all feel that a little bit.
Go back and find her on Facebook.
I've tried, actually. It's not there.
That's sad. You tried to find her.
I wasn't weeping and
Just like that
eating while I was doing it.
Ouch!
Oh, I didn't mean that about you.
Oh.
I had no intention.
Oh,
It's been a wild episode, people.
it's been a wild episode, hasn't it?
Wrap it up.
Oh my gosh.
Do you
Sorry.
have any takeaways?
Any Mara? Did you do a takeaway?
Yeah, of course.
Miss Malibu Mara. She bronzes in a moment. This woman.
Can you pull up the final song while I'm doing this? We're a little dented, and that's okay.
Some of us are like flattened by it. Like when you ever put a penny on a train track, some of us are dented like that. And it seems like you cannot put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And you know what? You can't, but you can take shelter of the holy name. And Lord Chaitanya specifically came for the dented cans of this world, Haribo. All right, give me a Haribo, people.
There's a fine line between being aware of our temporality and breeding anxiety.
Yeah.
Don't follow Maritime Daily.
Maybe don't. Maybe do. Maybe do. We're still. The
Depends
jury's
if you're
still out.
traveling on a ferry anytime soon. All right. Life is fragile. Don't waste time.
Yes.
God is attached to those who love him.
And only, well, that's what touches.
Yep.
Truth touches the heart of God, not Brahminical qualities.
Yeah.
Rules are meant to serve love. Love is not meant to serve the rules.
Rules are meant to be broken. How about that one?
Not if they're serving love.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. Rules are meant to be broken. I don't know where that came from. What? She's got a big
Yeah, I got more.
and.
No, I got
not yet.
more.
There's a lot more here.
Okay. God cares about your heart, not your position.
That is like a whole. That should be the name of the show.
thinking the earthquake issue.
The earthquake episode. Okay.
Love and separation is greater than love and union.
We didn't even talk about the submarine. Tomorrow. There's always tomorrow.
And
The submarine will come on tomorrow.
don't sit under a chandelier during an earthquake.
Woo! Thanks, everybody. Whoa! Look at these. Can you guys hear the music here? You turn the volume there, Kaustubha, on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Can you hear the music, people? Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Zoom. Thank all these people who've been sitting around waiting for us to get back online. Thanks to all these livers. Thanks to this beautiful palace temple in the background. Thanks to all the devotees who take care of this temple and make us prashad. And thanks to beautiful Italy for being a beautiful backdrop for transcendental realization. It's beautiful. Thanks to see all these Zoomers and others in person. And thanks for the repeat visitors. And thank you. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow. Howdy bo! Dancing and singing, there's nothing like it.